The WOODTICK Peninsula Dogman. I worked at Consumers Power, a coal-burning power plant on the shores of Lake Erie in southwest Michigan. When you set foot there, you have one foot on Earth and one in several other dimensions. It has Erie Indian burial grounds, a camp that burnt to the grounds with children in it, quicksand, and a lot of death. I was struggling when I first worked there. I was new to my faith, which claims seeing ghosts and fairies as demonic entities. The harder I prayed, the more my eyes were opened. My God showed himself to be bigger than the constraints religion put on him. I followed Jesus, and he put me on a wild ride. One of the guards' hidden perks was WOODTICK Peninsula. It was remote for the most part, only easily approached by boat. It bordered on the land we guarded at its furthest point out. Since the plant's cameras couldn't see us, we would sneak down there every chance we got. Our own private beach and woods. Well, we'd ended up sharing it with ghosts and other things. But you best believe everyone always made sure to be out of there before night fell. One spring, I was waiting to get back to my beach, where I'd look for fossils, arrowheads, and agates, all of which the lake coughed up. I had snuck down there, only to be greeted by the corpse of a bloated dead doe. And let me tell you, it reeked. Seagulls and coyotes wouldn't touch it, so my beach visits were shut down until the lake reclaimed it. So every evening, I would use a spotlight and cuss when it was still laying there, being dead at me. One night, a storm was blowing in off the lake. Huge waves were sweeping the beach, and my heart rejoiced. Bloaty was going on a cruise of Lake Erie. I spotlighted the area, and to my surprise, saw a huge dark form ripping into the corpse. Waves were slamming into it, and it didn't budge. My mind about broke. It was a good 75 feet away and downhill from my position. Its coloration was almost black slate gray. It was 5 feet tall at the shoulders, the rough size of a grizzly. We don't have bears around here. It had a thick neck like a hyena, a relatively tiny head with a rounded face, no ears that I could see. Its front was thick with huge, thick arms. The neck ended in a pronounced hump. No tail and too much smaller back legs. I had no clue what I was seeing. I knew one thing though. This wasn't going in the reports that night. I had turned off the security truck while spotlighting Bloaty because they monitored our gas usage. So, I reached for the ignition to haul tail, and when the truck started, it looked up. Its eyes were like two coals, not reflective like animals' eyes, but burning orange embers, looking dead at me. Like an idiot, I rolled up the window. It turned towards me and I muttered a short prayer, just Jesus. It cocked its head when I said that and lopped off down the beach. It moved like the terror dogs from Ghostbusters. A weird hop, splashing along the beach through the waves. Each hop took it 10 feet along and 6 high, and the movement just didn't look right. Something so huge moving so quick. It snapped me out of it and I drove off, praying and shook up, but also kind of happy I got to see whatever it was and live. I got that feeling a lot there. The next day I went to the beach by daylight. I took some Vicks Vapor Rub and some cotton balls to jam up my nose as a bloaty filter. There were bite marks in her, round like melon scoops, like Pac-Man had bit through her rotten hair, flesh, and bone. No scrape marks or tears from teeth, just clean scoops. It ate like a fourth of her. I went down to the beach. I found one partial claw mark that the waves had stolen most of. The claw hole went down a good 6 inches. I felt watch from the reeds, so I hauled it out of there. That heavy presence lingered a week and then faded. And finally, I got my beach back.